WorkSick. Stories about work, money, and adult life for people who are tired, but still trying to survive it properly. Most people think status is harmless: a nicer car, better clothes, a lifestyle that looks successful from the outside. It feels earned. It feels motivating. It feels like proof that your hard work is paying off. But there's a cost nobody warns you about. Not the price tag, the pressure. Let's talk about the envy tax. The envy tax isn't something you see on a receipt. It shows up after you buy the thing. When people notice, when expectations change, when your life quietly becomes more expensive because of how you look, not what you need. Most people don't realize this, but wealthy people actively avoid three things. I call them the 3 E's. Earnings, expensive purchases, excess. Not because they can't afford them, but because of what they attract. Let's start with the first one, earnings. When your income becomes visible, people treat you differently. Friends start making comments, family starts hinting. Someone always needs a small loan. Not because they're bad people, but because visibility creates assumptions. You earn more, so you must have more to give. That's the first layer of the envy tax. The second E is expensive purchases. The new car, the luxury watch, the designer bag. These things don't just cost money once, they raise the baseline of how people expect you to live. Suddenly, cheaper options feel below you. Simpler choices feel embarrassing. Saying no requires explanations. You don't just buy the item, you buy a role you have to keep playing. And roles are exhausting. The third E is excess. Too much of everything. Too many upgrades. Too much attention. Excess invites comparison. Comparison invites judgment. Judgment invites pressure. Pressure to keep up. Pressure to spend. Pressure to prove you're still doing well. This is how acting rich becomes a full-time job, and it's a job that pays terribly. Here's the part most people get backwards. Looking rich doesn't create freedom. It creates obligations. Obligations to maintain. Obligations to explain. Obligations to stay in the same income bracket even if your job is draining you. That's the WorkSick trap. You work harder not to build peace, but to protect an image. Meanwhile, the people with real wealth are doing something completely different. They practice stealth wealth. Stealth wealth doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't invite opinions. It's the car not purchased, the upgrade skipped, the lifestyle that stays intentionally boring. Because boring is quiet, and quiet is powerful. When people don't know what you make, they don't tell you how to spend it. When people don't see your wealth, they don't build expectations around it. You get to choose freely. Where to live, what to say no to, when to walk away from work that drains you. That's the real luxury. And here's the key insight most advice skips. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the money that never became a symbol, the freedom that never needed applause, the peace that doesn't require proof. Status fades quickly. Pressure doesn't. So if you're tired, not because you don't earn enough, but because life feels expensive in ways you can't explain, it might not be your income. It might be the envy tax. WorkSick isn't about pretending money doesn't matter. It's about understanding what actually costs you your energy. And sometimes the smartest move isn't earning more or upgrading faster. It's choosing to stay invisible. If adult life feels heavier than promised, you're not alone. Subscribe to WorkSick. We don't sell status. We explain how to keep your freedom.